They were one win away from everything, one final night where destiny hesitated, blinked, and slipped through Toronto's fingers. Game 7 of the World Series still hangs in the air like unfinished business. But here's the part no one is talking about enough. What came next might actually be better than we ever expected. While the rest of baseball was busy replaying that heartbreak, the Blue Jays quietly started building something deeper, stronger, and far more dangerous. And on today's episode of the Blue Jays Report, this is where we slow things down, pull back the curtain, and shine a light on a future that feels miles ahead of where it was just a year ago. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, because what we're about to talk about deserves far more attention than it's getting. The strange thing about falling short is that it often exposes truth. And for Toronto, the truth is this organization is no longer scraping by on hope alone. A few years ago, the prospect system felt hollow, almost embarrassed to introduce itself. Names graduated, stars moved on, and the cupboard looked bare. Now, that same system walks into the room with its shoulders back. 3 Blue Jays prospects now sit comfortably inside the top 100, with Trey Savage leading the charge, JoJo Parker following close behind, and Arjun Amala steadily climbing. This isn't luck, this is structure, this is intent, and it changes how the entire league looks at Toronto. What makes this even more fascinating is how quickly the narrative flipped. Not long ago, the Jays were criticized for having nothing left to trade, nothing left to dream on. Now they've got options everywhere you look. A top 10 stacked with names that don't just fill lists but whisper possibility. Players with 2026 written beside their ETA like a ticking clock. Prospects that could become contributors, trade chips, or centerpieces. The system isn't just healthy, it's flexible, and flexibility is power in modern baseball. But let's be honest, systems don't truly come alive until one name starts to glow brighter than the rest. And this is where we need to talk about Juan Sanchez. He isn't loud yet, he isn't plastered across highlight reels, but he's there, waiting like a spark in dry grass. Ranked outside the top 10, just 18 years old, still years away from the major leagues, and yet already forcing people to stop scrolling. Baseball America has noticed, scouts have noticed, and if you're watching closely, you can see the shape of something special forming. Juan Sanchez doesn't just hit the ball, he introduces himself to it. The barrel arrives on time, the contact sounds different, and the ball seems to leave with purpose. In the Dominican Summer League, he did things that simply don't happen by accident. A .341 average, an OPS brushing 4 digits, double stacked like punctuation marks in a statement season. He wasn't just productive, he was unique, the only player in his league combining that level of on-base damage with loft and consistency. At 18, that's not noise, that's a signal. What makes Sanchez so compelling is not just the numbers, but the patience in his game. He doesn't look rushed, doesn't look overmatched, doesn't look like a teenager borrowing a man's bat. He looks comfortable, and comfort at that age is dangerous. He plays third base, a position the Blue Jays know carries weight, history, and expectation. And while it's far too early to crown anyone, it's not too early to pay attention. This is exactly the type of player who skyrockets up rankings while everyone else is still learning his name. Zoom out for a moment and you start to see the bigger picture. This isn't just about one prospect, it's about abundance. Johnny King, Gage Stanziter, Ricky Tiedemann hovering on the edge of the majors like a storm cloud full of promise. Pitching depth that once felt thin now feels crowded. Decisions are coming, trades are coming, and for once the Blue Jays will be negotiating from a position of strength, not desperation. And that's why this moment matters, because while free agency headlines come and go, while hypothetical trades spark arguments, the foundation quietly solidifies underneath it all. This is how sustained contention is built, brick by brick, name by name. And maybe, just maybe, the next true superstar isn't arriving with fireworks, but with a whisper from the Dominican Summer League. If you're excited about where this is heading, make sure you let me know in the comments, like the video, share it with another Jays fan, and subscribe to the Blue Jays Report so you don't miss what comes next. Because the future isn't knocking anymore, it's already inside the house, and it's wearing Blue Jays blue.